Long ago, in a peaceful village near the hills of ancient Israel, there lived a wealthy man with his two sons. The father was kind, respected, and known for helping everyone in the village. His older son was hard-working and obedient, but the younger son was restless. He dreamed of adventure, riches, and freedom far away from home. One morning, the younger son walked up to his father and said, "Father, give me my share of the inheritance now. I want to leave and live my own life." The words pierced the father's heart. In those days, asking for inheritance before a father's death was deeply disrespectful. But the father loved his son so much that he quietly divided his property and gave the younger son his share. Within a few days, the young man packed his belongings and left home. He traveled to a distant city filled with music, lights, and excitement. At first, life seemed perfect. He bought expensive clothes, ate luxurious food, and surrounded himself with people who pretended to be his friends. Every night was a celebration. "Your life is amazing," people told him. The young man laughed proudly and spent money without thinking. He believed happiness would never end. But slowly, his wealth disappeared. The money bag that once felt heavy became empty. Then disaster struck the land. A terrible famine spread across the region. Food became scarce and jobs disappeared. The same people who once praised him suddenly vanished. Nobody cared about him anymore. Hungry and desperate, the young man searched for work. Finally, a farmer hired him to feed pigs. For a Jewish boy, this was one of the lowest jobs imaginable. Day after day, he stood in the mud among dirty pigs, starving and exhausted. Sometimes he looked at the pigs eating and wished he could eat their food too. One cold evening, sitting alone in the field, tears filled his eyes. "What have I done?" he whispered. He remembered his father's house, warm bread, loving servants, peaceful evenings, and most importantly, the kindness of his father. Then he made a decision. "I will go back home," he said. "I am no longer worthy to be called my father's son. I will ask him to accept me as a servant." The next morning, he began the long journey home. His clothes were torn. His face looked tired and thin. Every step filled him with fear. What if father rejects me? What if my brother hates me? What if nobody wants me anymore? Meanwhile, far away at the family home, the father continued waiting every single day. Even after all those months, he never lost hope that his son would return. Every evening he looked down the road. Every morning he prayed silently. Then, one day, while standing outside the house, he noticed a tiny figure walking in the distance. The father stared carefully. The walk looked familiar. The posture looked familiar. Suddenly, his eyes filled with tears. "It's my son!" Without waiting another second, the old man began running down the road. Villagers watched in shock because respected elderly men almost never ran in public. But the father did not care. When he reached his son, he wrapped his arms around him tightly. The young man broke down, crying, "Father, I have sinned against heaven and against you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son anymore." But before he could finish, the father interrupted him. "Quick," the father shouted to the servants, "bring the best robe, put a ring on his finger, and sandals on his feet. Prepare a great feast, because my son was lost, and now he is found." Music filled the house that night. Laughter returned. Servants prepared delicious food. The entire home celebrated the son's return. But not everyone was happy. The older brother came back from working in the fields and heard music and dancing. When he learned his younger brother had returned, anger burned inside him. "I worked faithfully all these years. I never disobeyed you. Yet you celebrate him after he wasted everything?" The father gently placed a hand on his older son's shoulder. "My son," he said softly, "you are always with me, and everything I have is yours. But your brother was lost, and now he is found. He was dead in our hearts, and now he is alive again. We must celebrate." The older brother stood silently, thinking deeply about his father's words. That night became a powerful reminder for everyone in the village. The story spread from town to town, not because of the son's mistakes, but because of the father's incredible love and forgiveness. This story was later told by Jesus Christ to teach people about God's mercy. No matter how far someone falls, God's love is always waiting for them to return. And even today, the story of the lost son continues to touch millions of hearts around the world.